Namaste. Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis, on Sri Aurobindo, Part 1. In preparing myself for Sri Aurobindo's Mahasamadhi, December 5th, a day on which we are blessed to be able to visit his room each year, to offer ourselves in gratitude and love to him who is the master of our existence and avatar of the new world. I have prepared this 9-part series as my humble offering at his feet. The collection is not exhaustive, because many have written on Sri Aurobindo, and I have chosen only those words of the Mother and his own words on himself. My prayer is that some may feel something of the honor, the grace, and the deep and inestimable joy I have experienced in preparing the text from the depth of my soul. Today we feel his presence and that of the mothers, guiding and protecting all who have consecrated themselves to the integral yoga and the evolution of man into a higher consciousness, the transformation into a new being, the Superman, promised to us in a glorious future when Earth will become the home of the divine and a life divine on Earth. I have experienced, and many others as well, I am certain, that the moment one enters his room and feels the peace so physically palpable, one becomes silent and the mind stills. Afterwards, I have always felt the need to give the body hours of rest and quiet, to assimilate what he, in his beneficence, gives to all. Note, I have made only a few changes textually. The first is to change all examples of Sri Aurobindo's name written in lowercase to Sri Aurobindo title case. And when answers to questions are given by Mother or Sri Aurobindo, I have placed their names before the answers. For most of the following, I have utilized the vast information from our website, Mother and SriAurobindo.in, Savitri, and the volume Sri Aurobindo on himself. Sri Aurobindo's touch. My touch is always there, but you must learn to feel it not only with the outward contact as a medium, a touch of the pen, but in its direct action on the mind and heart and vital and body. There would then be very much less difficulty, or no difficulty at all. 27/3/1933. The outward touch is helpful, but the inward is still more helpful when one is accustomed to receive it with a certain concreteness. And the outward touch is not always fully possible. while the inward can be there all the time. Sri Aurobindo's compassion. Question: why is the flower symbolizing your compassion so delicate, and why does it wither away so soon? Sri Aurobindo: no, the compassion does not wither with its symbol. Flowers are the moment's representation of things that are in themselves eternal. Sri Aurobindo's light. Sri Aurobindo's light is not a light of the illumined mind. It is the divine illumination which may act on any plane. Question: 2 days back, in a dream, I saw Sri Aurobindo coming towards me. His body and dress were of blue color. Why did I see him in this color and not any other? Sri Aurobindo: it is the basic light Sri Aurobindo manifests. How can I receive Sri Aurobindo's light in the mind? It can always come if you aspire patiently. But the best condition, if you want that light, is to get rid of all other mental influences. Sri Aurobindo's force. Sri Aurobindo: certainly my force is not limited to the ashram and its conditions. As you know, it is being largely used for helping the right development of the war and of change in the human world. It is also used for individual purposes outside the scope of the ashram and the practice of yoga. But that, of course, is silently done, and mainly by a spiritual action. The ashram, however, remains at the center of the work, and without the practice of yoga, the work would not exist and could not have any meaning or fruition. Sri Aurobindo: what is Sri Aurobindo's force? It is not a personal property of this body or mind. It is a higher force used by me or acting through me. Of course, it is a divine force, for there is only one force acting in the world, but it acts according to the nature of the instrument. Yogic force is different from others because it is a special power of the spiritual consciousness. Sri Aurobindo again: as to force, let me point out a few elementary notions which you ignore. 1. The force is a divine force, so obviously it can apply itself in any direction. It can inspire a poet, set in motion the soldier, doctor, scientist, everybody. 2. The force is not a mental force. It is not bound to go out from the communicator with every detail mentally arranged, precise in its place, and communicate it mentally to the recipient. It can go out as a global force, containing in itself the thing to be done, but working out the details in the recipient and the action as the action progresses. It is not necessary for the communicant to occupy mentally the force, plant himself mentally in the mind of the recipient, and work out mentally there the details. He can send the force or put on the force, leave it to do its work, and attend himself to other matters.